Level of measurement.
Once the operationalization of the concepts has been established, the concepts need to be measured in some manner.
A scale is a tool or mechanism by which individuals are distinguished based on the variables of interest in the study.
The scale or tool could be gross or fine-tuned.
A gross scale broadly categorizes individuals on certain variables. A fine-tuned scale differentiates individuals on the variables with varying degrees of sophistication.
Using these rules of order, distance and origin of the data are classified into the following types of scales.
Nominal measure, scale.
Nominal data is widely used in social science research. It is characterized by a set of categories that are exclusive and exhaustive.
When nominal data is used, the only arithmetic operation that can be done is the numeration of members in each group.
If numbers are used to identify categories, then they are recognized as labels only and have no quantitative value.
Nominal measures are the least useful form of measurement, because they suggest no order or distance relationship and have no arithmetic origin.
Moreover, the measurements have no information on the varying degree of the property measured.
Although nominal data is weak, it is still useful.
In an exploratory study of which the objective is to uncover relationship rather than secure precise measurements, nominal data is valuable. Studies to provide insights into important data patterns can be easily accomplished using nominal data. Self-check.
Give 3 examples of nominal scale.
Ordinal measure, scale.
An ordinal scale not only categorizes the variables in a way that denotes differences among the various categories, it also rank orders the categories in a meaningful way.
Ordinal measure, scale.
An ordinal scale not only categorizes the variables in a way that denotes differences among the various categories, it also rank orders the categories in a meaningful way.
The ordinal scale would be used for an ordered series of relationship.
The preference would be ranked and numbered 1, 2 or 3.
The ordinal scale helps the researcher to determine the percentage of each preference level, first preference, second preference and so on.
The ordinal scale gives more information than the nominal scale. It goes beyond giving difference in categories and on how respondents can distinguish them by rank ordering.
Do take note that the ordinal scale does not give any indication of the magnitude of the differences among the ranks.
The following example explains this.
Example.
Please indicate your preference among the types of examination designs below by using the following scales.
1. Least preferred.
2. Preferred.
3. Most preferred.
Types of questions ranking of preference.
A. Objective questions 3.
B. Subjective questions 1.
C. Combination of both 2. Please indicate your preference among the types of examination designs below by using the following scales.
1. Least preferred.
3. Most preferred.
2. Preferred.
Interval measure, scale.
The interval scale allows the researcher to perform arithmetical operations on the data and to measure the distance between any 2 points on the scale.
It allows the calculation of means and standard deviations of the responses on the variables. The interval scale not only grouped individuals according to certain categories and indicates the order of the groups, but also measures the magnitude of the differences among the individuals.
The following example explains this. Example 5.3.
Using the scale below, please indicate your choice for each of the items that follow, by circling the number that best describes your feeling.
1. Strongly disagree.
2. Disagree.
3. Neutral.
4. Agree.
5. Strongly agree.
A. The facilities here are adequate. 1. 2. 3. 4.
B. The services provided are sufficient. 1. 2. 3. 4.
C. The people here are friendly. 1. 2. 3. 4.
D. The prices here are cheap. 1. 2. 3. 4.
The interval scale has equal magnitude of differences in the scale point.
The magnitude of difference, represented by the space between 1 and 2 on the scale, is the same as the magnitude of difference, represented by the space between 4 and 5, or between any other 2 points.
Any number can be added to or subtracted from the numbers on the scale.
Assuming the magnitude of the difference is still retained, if a 6 is added to all 5 points on the scale, the interval scale will become 6 to 11. The magnitude of the difference between 7 and 8 is still the same as the magnitude of the difference between 10 and 11.
Thus, the origin or the starting point could be any arbitrary number. The interval scale taps the differences, the order and the equality of the magnitude of the differences in the variable.
It is a more powerful scale than the ordinal and nominal scales. It allows the measuring of the central tendency, mean, dispersion, range, standard deviation and variance.
Ratio measure, scale.
The disadvantage of using the interval scale is related to its arbitrary origin. This can be overcome by using the ratio scale, as it has an absolute origin or 0 point, which is a meaningful measurement point.
So, the ratio scale not only measures the magnitude of the differences between points on the scale, but also taps the proportions of the differences.
The ratio scale is the most powerful of the 4 scales because it has a unique 0 origin and subsumes all the properties of the other 4 scales.
Table 5.1. Properties of the 4 measures, scales. Example.
How many books have you read in the last 2 weeks?
How many times have you visited a shopping complex in the last month?
The measures of central tendency of the ratio scale could be either the arithmetic or the geometric mean, and the measure of dispersion could be the standard deviation, variance or the coefficient of variation.
Activity. What is the meaning of measurement in a research study? Give 3 steps of the measurement process. What is the level of measurement concept based on? Self-check.
What are the essential differences among the nominal, ordinal, interval and ratio scales?
Scaling techniques.
4 different types of scales are used to measure the operationally defined dimensions and elements of a variable.
It is necessary to know the methods of scaling, the process of assigning numbers or symbols to elicit the attitudinal responses of subjects towards objects, events or persons.
There are 2 main categories of attitudinal scales, rating scale and ranking scale.
Rating scales.
Rating scales have several categories and are used to elicit responses with regard to the object, event or person studied.
The following are some examples of rating scales often used in social science research. Dichotomous scale, simple category scale.
B. Category scale, multiple choice, single response scale. C. Category scale, multiple choice, multiple response scale. Summated rating scale.
One of the most popular application of summated rating scale is the Likert scale. The Likert scale is designed to examine how strongly subjects agree or disagree with statements on a 5-point scale.
The responses over a number of items tapping at particular concept or variable are then summated for every respondent. This is an interval scale, and the differences in the responses between any 2 points on the scale remain the same.
Semantic differential scale.
Several bipolar attributes are identified at the extremes of the scale, and respondents are asked to indicate their attitudes towards a particular individual, object or event on each of the attributes.
The semantic differential scale is used to assess respondents' attitudes towards a particular brand, advertisement, object or individual. The responses are plotted to obtain a good idea of their perceptions and are measured as an interval scale.
Numerical scale.
The numerical scale is similar to the semantic scale, with the difference that numbers on a 5-point or 7-point scale are provided, with the bipolar adjectives at both ends.
The scale used is an interval scale. Fixed or constant sum scale.
In this type of scale, the respondents are asked to distribute a given number of points across various items.
This scale uses the ordinal measure. In choosing the accommodation facility, indicate the importance to attach the following 5 aspects by allotting points for each to a total of 100.
Staple scale.
The staple scale provides simultaneous measures of the direction and intensity of the attitude towards the items under study.
The characteristics of interest to the study are placed at the center, and a numerical scale ranging from +3 to -3 are put on either side of the item. The scale gives an idea on the gap of the individual response to the stimulus. It does not have an absolute zero, thus it is an interval scale.
Ranking scale.
The respondents make comparisons between 2 or more objects or items and make choices among them, ordinal in nature.
Often, the respondents are asked to select one as the best or the most preferred. This ranking may be conclusive if there are only 2 choices to be compared.
If there are more than 2 choices, it may result in ties, which may not be helpful.
Suppose that 35% of the respondents choose product A, 25% choose product B and 20% choose each of the products C and D as of importance to them.
Which product is the most preferred? It is not acceptable to conclude that product A is the most preferred, since 65% of the respondents did not choose that product.
This ambiguity can be avoided by using alternative methods of ranking.
Paired comparison.
In using this scale, the respondents are asked to choose among a small number of objects, 2 objects at a time.
This helps to assess preferences, because the respondents can express attitudes unambiguously by choosing between 2 objects.
The number of paired comparisons that will be judged by the respondent for n objects is n multiplied by n minus 1 and divided by 2. If n equals 4, then the number of paired comparisons will be 4. Multiplied by 4 minus 1 and divided by 2 equals 6.
The greater the number of objects, the greater the number of paired comparisons that will be presented to the respondents. This will tire the respondent mentally.
This technique is good if the number of objects is small.
Force choice.
This choice enables the respondents to rank objects relative to one another, among alternatives provided. This is easier for the respondents, especially if the number of choices to be ranked is limited in number.
Comparative scale.
This scale gives a point of reference to assess attitudes towards the current object, event or situation under study.
The technique is ideal if the respondents are familiar with the standard.